I saw this on my subreddit. It's the Deep Fat Fried Boys going over a video of mine. A THERMIA video, actually. THERMIA, as always, fronting the very best of my channel. Thank you, THERMIA.
Yeah, of course, Vaush.
Leftism is failure. I remember saying that. That's true.
So his opinion is
talk.
The only people that it's worth your time to politically advocate for are the Hillary Clinton liberals. Is that
in terms of like trying to get good people elected or trying to stop bad people from getting elected? The only people that are really worth your time are liberals. You can move like the left, the young left vote, and I'm not saying leftists don't vote at all or don't participate.
Let me ask you a question. Rather than do what I normally do.
Yeah, unfortunately, obviously, it's a pretty strongly ingrained two-party system. There are some cases where independents can move some ground at local levels, but in terms of like, if you don't want the fascists to win, then yeah, obviously the Democrats are the are like the venue by which you would do that.
What is the charitable interpretation of this take?
I honestly,
because you know what,
idea.
my instinct is to immediately go like, well, that vindicates me, because I'm on record 3 years ago saying I feel like Vaush is like pipelining radical leftists into liberalism, and I feel like he just kind of did that, right?
Paul, follow your instincts.
There is a difference between doing things that feel left-leaning and being effective as a left-leaning person. Going and joining up with your most radical local communist political advocacy group and doing a bunch of meetings where you talk about like solidarity and such, like that may feel really good, but there's no guarantee that doing that and committing yourself to that is going to lead to better outcomes for anyone. Sometimes the things that are the most effective don't really feel like they're very, you know, epic Twitter lefty woke or whatever. The Democrats are the most entrenched medium for any kind of left of center engagement in this country. That doesn't mean they're the only mechanism by which you can make change happen. It's just they're the largest one. And if nothing else, it can be useful to use them as a platform to build your own voice. Like what Bernie Sanders did. Bernie Sanders correctly identified the Democratic Party as a more effective vehicle for pushing his social democratic policies than continuing to run as an independent when he made a shot for the presidency. He didn't join up with the Dems to like become more liberal or as a form of compromise. He did it because it was a more effective way of fronting his policies. For the average person in my audience, I don't think you guys are going to run for president. I hope you do. And if ever you do, I don't want you to run as like the most left-leaning, super-duper, you know, ultra-communist party candidate. I want you to run as whatever candidate you think maximizes the likelihood of you affecting positive outcomes. Does that make sense?
On this one, just go ahead.
Pragmatically, Paul.
I think you just need
the most likely candidate to win.
Remember what your doctor ordered, Paul. Remember?
I like how to PaulsEgo, pragmatic is like a smear word that can be used, applied in a nasally voice to delegitimize it, you know? What about being pragmatic? Oh, well, yeah, wait, what about that? Wait, is that not important? Like actually doing something?
This type of shit is so far outside of the socialist paradigm or the revolutionary paradigm. This is just straight up like, let's make the same mistakes our parents did. And I don't know how I could
This is the last conversation that I had with PaulsEgo. I trashed him, and it seems like he's going to spend a lot of his life reliving it by going over stream clips.
The only thing politically worth your time is just cyclical voting for liberals. That's
what he advocated on this same show for hours.
Right, but he didn't say it explicitly. He tried to dress it up with all of this, like fascism is around the corner, my dude.
To me, it's like splitting hairs. Because
this is another way that you can delegitimize people like this who say that like voting for Democrats because they're preferable to Republicans is anti-revolutionary or it's bad or whatever. They always delegitimize the threat of fascism every time. This is one of the ways you know that they're, unserious would be a word. Rather than having some kind of principled anarchist take on how electoral democracy corrupts revolutionary intent, the way, for example, Zoe Baker has in a conversation that I had with her. You know, she's anti-electoral, but in like an informed, intelligent, theory-based anarchist way. I don't agree with her on the subject, but I respect her opinion. I think it's interesting to listen to. I guess, thinking about it. But in this case, it's just like, I guess, willful denial of reality, pretending the fascists aren't as much of a threat as so claimed.
So he's like baby's first leftist that they, I don't know, like, And he's just out there like draping himself in the aesthetics of revolutionary leftism, but ultimately just funneling people into the Hillary Clinton.
That's true. The Hillary. I'm telling people to vote for Hillary Clinton. I like this accusation that I'm like covertly trying to shift people to being liberals or whatever. When A, I say and talk about socialist theory constantly, and B, the fact that I believe in voting for Democrats over Republicans is not exactly a big secret. It's not exactly a hidden element of my channel. People like to do the baby's first leftism thing because they think grown-up leftism is when you say, fuck it, fuck the system, man. Revolutionary action, by which PaulsEgo means do nothing and collect, like, Patreon paychecks in his basement, you know? Like, he's out there leading the fucking vanguard. People love to look like the most aesthetically leftist guy out there when they don't do shit. And that's so common all over the place. The people on Twitter who call you a rad lib for thinking that Biden winning is better than Trump winning, they don't do anything. Is this the guy who threw a screaming tantrum when you called him childish? Yes.
On which there are fulcrum issues in the United States. Most of them orient around like progressive issues or basic economic liberal, like, you know, welfare shit. And liberals tend to be on the same side as the left on that. The only difference is that the left is less effective. Like, what answers are you going to get out of a DSA?
Liberals? Wait a minute. When's the last time a liberal seriously addressed an economic issue in this country? I'll wait.
I mean, even with the Biden administration, all of the pro-union stuff, the child care tax, like cutting child poverty in half for a time. Like, obviously, if you had to choose between Republicans and Democrats on economic issues, it's obvious the Democrats are better on them as a leftist, like from a left-leaning perspective. This is not me saying the liberals do enough. It's me saying that if you want to move the country in a positive direction and you have two main like currents that you can follow, leftists will obviously side with Democrats, or at least they should.
Where's this idea that liberals and leftists are close together on economic issues? Can I get an example of that, please?
It's not really that they're close together. It's just a matter of like, realistically, with what actually can be done in this country, you know, as much fun as it would be to snap your fingers and make society better, like instantly. In terms of which direction you want to move in, that would be like the preferable one, obviously.
When is this? When I brought up economics during our argument, this dude poo-pooed my whole economic argument as if it doesn't matter. The only thing that mattered to this dude was fascism is coming, my guy.
Vaush just keep bringing up points like fascism's bad. That's your average Vaush stream. Fascism is bad. Mass murder is bad. Fascists shouldn't win. You know, that loser, that fucking dork. You know, can you believe this guy? Well, it's like the nerd emoji shit. Yeah. Actually, fascism is bad. Mass murder of people is bad. Oh, well, fucking dork. You know.
A bunch of fear mongering and a bullshit.
Dude, this is what I mean about unseriousness. He downplays it. It's one thing to have a principled anti-electoral stance. He just lies. This is all like, you know, I'm mad at my parents' behavior. He doesn't see. Functionally, this is pro-fascist behavior. You know, this is this level of downplaying the threat of fascism goes beyond merely just being a fucking moron, which PaulsEgo is, to be fair, and extends further into the realm of fascism apologia. There's a limit to how delusional you can be. I thought you were calling him a child just as an insult, but genuinely the dude seems to have an immature brain. How old was he on 9/11 when he stopped growing? Maybe he was like a juvenile back then, and his brain, like, that was like a juvenile brain that it got locked into? Like 65? Okay, he got locked in at the juvenile age of 65 years old at 9/11. I don't fucking know.
Look, in Bosch's defense, I mean, Trump could herald fascism. That is a possibility.
Yeah, a giant ass could descend from the boundless reaches of space.
Very serious political commentary here.
Like when you're selling young leftists, the only place you can go to is Hillary Clinton for your political ad.
He still thinks Hillary Clinton. Genuinely, it's like it's genuinely like fighting a ghost or something. Like you're going through a haunted mansion and a ghost yells at you and you're like, what the fuck? What's your deal, dude? And the ghost is mad about some like 19th century shit or something. You know what I mean? This is he's gonna have dementia when he's older if he doesn't already. Isn't this like a thing? Like thinking people haven't died when they've died, or like living in the past because your memories from the recent past have been deteriorated or something? Like, I don't know. What the fuck? It's just like, why say Hillary Clinton instead of Biden? Like, that's the current head of the Democratic Party. It's weird.
Like, go to the communist club. Are the people who want a book group, reading circle?
Yeah, you're
What are
poo-pooing
you doing?
exactly your prescription that you gave to us. You told us that the real work of leftism happens outside of the internet and outside of the electoral argument, happens in the streets, happens when people get together, and now here you are making fun of it and calling it the communist club. What do you do?
I don't know what argument he's making exactly. There's plenty of non-electoral political engagement you can do. I don't think the best kind of engagement is joining things called the Communist Club. That's probably, as a general rule, and I am generalizing, if there's an institution called the Communist Club, I wonder how much work they get done. You know? Just a little bit. It's a feeling I have, perhaps.
Honestly, I'd be fine. I would be totally fine with this being the last time we cover Vaush ever.
Oh, shit.
I'd be totally fine with it.
That'll be difficult for him
How do
after
you feel
this
about
gets
that,
out.
TJ?
The last section of this video is called the Vaush Free Zone. Is it over? Well, good engagement. We learned a lot of interesting stuff. Why do they care about your take so much? Well, PaulsEgo is mad because I trashed him in 2 convos. Yeah, it's... yeah, I don't know. I hope that the young progressives who watch him understand what poison he offers them. Even if you disagree with a lot of what I said, PaulsEgo is poison. His perspective is a rot of the heart and mind. It's not just a matter of disagreeing about pragmatism or institutional complacency. Like, he is miserable and he projects it outward, and his ideology is one of misery and failure. And his goal is to make you like him, because if people are better than him, which most of you are, it invalidates his ideology. The existence of people that are better than him is an insult to him, because it's an indication that he's choosing to be something worse. So he wants to drag everyone else down. Wretched behavior.